potential. How do you take the level of success which every one of you has achieved at this point and turn around and look at that as merely a launching pad for what's next? When you ask the question, what if, in a positive way, you open up the possibilities every time. What if we could do that? What would it look like? I know we can't, but what if we could? Because if there's nothing on the line, at that moment, absolutely anything is possible. And that's where we want to start. Let's set aside the old thinking, step into the new and say, hey, what if we could do that? How would it work? What if we could make this? I know this is crazy, but what if it happened? Because questions define the way we think. When we're willing to make this a habit, to where you just become that possibility thinker, asking those kind of what if kind of questions, you've reprogrammed your brain to where you are walking through life no longer looking for reasons you can't. As your default, you're looking for reasons you can't. If I had to say that there is a common denominator with every organization I present for, and you guys are dealing with it as much more than anyone, it's change. We hear it all the time. We're trying to manage change, right? Changing the economy, changing technology. You guys have had more changes in regulations and law from Dodd-Frank and everything else going on, and now there's more coming down the pike, right? Peter Drucker summed up my philosophy perfectly. He said, managing change is not only stupid, it's dangerous. The only way to manage change is to create change. And now my words, to be the ones who step out and define the curve rather than follow it. The solutions you're coming up with are yours. They're a product of your abilities and experiences or those of your team. When you then act on them, you're now doing something no one else would have done. This is how you access and honor the abilities that you have on your team. And it is literally where innovation begins. Every major accomplishment, achievement, or victory in human history started in one way or another with a what-if question. So why aren't we asking this regularly? It's so powerful. Now, the way I sort of found my way into this, dealing with change and trying to figure this out, I used to play in these clubs. People would yell all these requests at the same time. I had a cutoff time. I had to fit them in, and it wouldn't work. And I thought, but what if it could? And a wild idea hit me. I put them together. Green Acres is a place to be. Farmer living is a life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. I love you, Hooterville. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. What I'm teaching is artistic principles, but in a business or a life context. If you want your people to be innovative, if you want them to think with a fresh new mindset, why bring in the same old speaker with PowerPoint? I mean, shoot, if you're going to be innovative, be innovative. I want you to write music that you can't play. Write music that you can't play. Obviously a metaphor. So let's say the same thing in non-musical terms. Set goals that don't exist. Set goals that don't exist. A goal that exists. If you set a goal for a 10% increase over a year, however you would measure that, it's a good goal, but to me it exists. Because you can probably see how to get there even if you can't do it yet. Work harder, longer, hire help, be more productive. And most of our goals are that way, stepwise. But I'm about trying to affect exponential change because I've just seen it happen too often not to. So whatever time frame you set goals, try this. Set one goal. Come either individually or just talk to your team about it. Set one goal where when you come up with a goal, don't start with what's possible. Start with what's cool. What's right? What's the dream case scenario? People say, well, in a perfect world, I would, yes, in a perfect world, you would what? Why is that not the goal? Oh, well, because it's impossible, and we kill it before it comes out of our mouths. Here's the test to know you have the goal I'm thinking about. It takes courage to think it. The kind of goal that completes this phrase. Okay, this is nuts, but I'm gonna. What is it? It's nuts, but you're gonna do it anyway. 3 things you gotta do with that goal. Number 1, you gotta write it down. Can't just think about it. Number 2, you gotta commit to it. Get your heart in there. This is gonna happen. I don't know how, but this is gonna happen. This is what great leaders do, by the way. Great leaders get in front of the whole group and say, folks, here's where we're going. I don't know how to get there, but let's get started. Kennedy said, we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. And when he said it, not only did the technology not exist, it was 4 or 5 steps from existing. It exists, and we did it because he said, we're going to. That phenomenon doesn't just work for Kennedy. It works for anybody. And number 3, so you will write it down. You're going to commit to it. Number 3, you're going to take physical action on it the moment you write it down. I think when we imagine change, we think of something that didn't exist. Someone thinks it up, they make it, and now it does. And sometimes that's the case. But haven't you noticed that some of the most profound and effective changes, and where it is truly your opportunity, is when someone takes something that's in front of everyone and is willing to just look at it and use it a little differently, to take a different perspective on it, or to take some things, a collection of things that were all there in front of everyone, but they align them a little differently, package them a little different, put it in a little differently, and it changes everything. Example, Apple's iPod. People don't even think about the iPod anymore. It's an afterthought on an iPhone. But when the iPod came out, it changed everything. Not just the entire consumer electronics industry, which it did. It changed the entire entertainment industry. We buy and sell music on iTunes single-handedly because of the iPod. That is disruption. So it's something brand new, right? Wrong. The day the iPod came out, it was nothing more than MP3 technology, which had existed for at least 10 years beforehand. Every major consumer electronics company had it. Sony, Toshiba, Yamaha, Nakamichi, all of them had it. The difference is Apple was willing to say, what if? What if we take this technology? Okay, cool. We combine it. We make this smaller. There's a little dial. Put these little earphones that don't fit. They're better now. And when they did, it changed everything. And what I'm telling you is I genuinely believe, I wouldn't be here if I did not believe this. Those type of opportunities exist in front of all of us every day. We just have to be willing to unearth them. And one great way to do that is asking the question, what if? We're taking a huge problem and we're poking fun at it. We are making fun of the problem. We are bringing levity to the problem, and I mean to do that. And the reason I say to do that is, I don't know if you've noticed, but that's not what we as human beings tend to do with problems. You know what we do? We deify them. We take problems, we set them on pedestals and worship them. It drives me crazy. As soon as there's a problem, watch what happens. Watch the email chain about the problem. Watch, have you heard about the problem? Oh, I've heard about the problem. Oh gosh, there's a problem. Yes, it's such a problem. It's a problem. There's a meeting about the problem and a memo about the problem and a meeting about the memo about the problem, okay? And you've never experienced that, of course, but I'm not saying to diminish the importance of solving it. To the contrary, it is impossible to make fun of something without standing outside of it. The very act of making a joke about something causes a distance, a buffer, a new and better perspective because of that distance, and I will guarantee you a better solution every time. We're taking this problem and we're intentionally, the moment it happens, not looking at it as a problem. We're saying, hey, where's the opportunity in this? I mean, these requests that I hated, took me a while to figure it out, but they were there to deliver to me everything I wanted. Made me a comedian, made me a professional speaker. Everything I love about my career came from bad requests. It just didn't look that way in the beginning. So let me ask you this. Earlier on, I asked you to think about whatever it is that you dread, that you avoid, whatever that cloud is in your life, that's whatever's holding you or your business back. What if there's something good about that? What would it be? I know there's probably not, but what if there was? Or what if there's an opportunity in it in some way? Or maybe it's a personal thing, a personal issue. We all got those, right? What if by overcoming it, it gave you an ability that made you unstoppable? What's it look like on the other side of that? That's why we get problems, is to get us to those new places in life, the new levels of success, growth. And let's be honest, most speakers will say this, problem equals opportunity, right? Because it's true, it's time-honored truth. Little magnets on the refrigerator. There's no such thing as a problem without a gift for you and it's solving, which is beautiful. And that's great, but I'm a pragmatist. I'm like, okay, that's great. How? How does problem literally turn into opportunity? It's you. and it's me. When we change, we then lead the way, and the problem becomes opportunity.